All right, Shalom. We the brothers of Great Millstone Church of Birmingham, Alabama. And as always, we want to begin by giving all praise, honor, and glory
to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shah.
Double honors to the head apostles and elders of Great Millstone. And Shalom to the sincere brethren out there that's laboring in his work, continually pushing out this gospel in all true faith and sincerity. So yeah, we want to go into a quick lesson concerning the times and the seasons, all right? And right now, we're in the time of harvest, all right? We got a little information we want to go into, which pretty much coincide with the scriptures, because everything around us, if you spiritual, you look at it through spiritual lens, you can filter everything spiritually, all right? Even Yahweh Shah did that. He took tangible things and he looked at it spiritually. Like St. John the 15th chapter, where the Lord was talking about the branch, how the branch is connected, and if the branch break away, it withers and die. Well, the Lord was speaking spiritually, but he was using tangible, carnal things to express his point, all right? The Lord spoke about consider the fig tree, which, Lord will, we're going to bring that out, all right? So we got a little information we want to go into that coincide with this lesson, all right? Matter of fact, before we start, somebody get 2 Ezra 4 and 39 in the Apocrypha, because that's what we do. To really teach and give somebody understanding, you got to use analogies, you got to use comparisons, to break it down to the simplest form, to use certain things that a person can identify with. That's what Yahweh Shah did. That's why when you read Yahweh Shah spoke about the kingdom of heaven, he said, and the kingdom of heaven is compared to this, and the kingdom of heaven is likened unto that. See? Because he was breaking it down to the common,
least common denominator.
That's it. The least common denominator, so the person can understand. All right? So get that real quick.
This 2 Ezra chapter 4 and verse 39.
Chapter 6.
Oh, chapter 6.
Chapter 4, you right.
Alright, chapter 4 and verse 39. And for our sakes, peradventure, it is that the floors of the righteous are not filled because of the sins of them that dwell upon the earth. So he answered me and said, go thy way to a woman with child.
Salakia, chapter 6.
Chapter 6.
Yeah, 6 and 59.
Alright, come on. This 2 Ezra chapter 6 and verse 59. If the world now be made for our sakes, why do we not possess an inheritance with the world? How long shall this endure?
Right, so Ezra said the world was made for our sake, all right? So we know that means that it was meant for us to rule, but like the Apostle Kabbalah said, scripture's like onions, they got layers to it. That's why they're known as living waters, because wet waters, like if you take water, right? You could touch the surface of the water, but what happens? Your hand go deeper and deeper in it. So that's how the scriptures is. You can see something, you can touch a word, touch on a word, but it actually goes deep. So this means the world was created for our sake, meaning everything we see, we can look at it spiritually and break it down. It could be a damn stray cat, anything, just an animal, something at the job, you know what I'm saying, sports. We look at all type of, numerology, numbers. Somewhere a carnal person look at it a certain way, but we look at it spiritually. So, with that said, we want to go into the information that we got out of Wikipedia concerning harvest, all right, the harvest time. So, go ahead.
It's, Wikipedia, the word harvest. Harvesting is the process of gathering a ripe crop from the fields.
Yeah, so it said harvesting is the process of gathering a ripe crop, all right, from the fields. Now, that's spiritual, man. That's scriptural right there. Because our Lord is known as what? A farmer. And one thing about a farmer is patient. All right? And a farmer, he pretty much wait till everything grows out before he make a move. So now we're in the time, because it tells you that about how the earth is ripe, their deeds is ripe, stick in the sickle. So our righteousness is growing to its ripeness, and wickedness is growing. The planet Earth, the world, is the field. Matter of fact, before you get there, get Matthew 13 and 38, but before you get there, somebody get James 5 and 7. James 5 and 7 first. Because when you read St. John the 15th chapter, it tells you that Yahweh is what? The husband. I know I probably got it on there. Yep. So we're going to get that too. But before we get this James 5 and
With
7.
James chapter 5 verse 7, be patient therefore, brethren, unto the coming of the Lord. Behold, the husbandman waited for the precious fruit of the earth.
The Lord Yahweh is the husbandman, which is a farmer. He waited patiently for the fruit of the earth so it could blossom out. All right?
And have long patience for it until he received the early and latter rain.
See? Until he received the early and latter rain. Also, when you read Isaiah the 55th chapter, it tells you how the Lord send the rain and water the earth. So that's what a farmer do. And attempts to what? What he looking for? What's the results? For the harvest, for everything to grow out. And everything that's good, he's going to keep it. And everything that's bad, he's going to wet, he's going to burn it. Somebody can get that too. All right, now, read what you got in that article one more time. Should I say in Wikipedia?
This harvesting is the process of gathering a ripe crop from the fields. Reaping is the cutting of
Yeah, it said gathering the right crop from the fields, all right? So the reason why that's important, or we see that spiritually, because it's actually scriptural, all right? So get that up.
Done. Let's start it out first.
Matthew 13.
Okay, let's start at 36.
Okay.
This is the book of St. Matthew, chapter 13 and verse 36. Then Yahushua sent the multitude away and went into the house. And his disciples came unto him, saying, Declare unto us the parable of the tares of the field.
Right, so they wanted to know the parable of the tares of the field, all right? Go ahead.
Verse 37, he answered and said unto them, He that soweth the good seed is the Son of Man.
Uh-huh.
The field is the world.
See, that's it. The field is the world, all right? So when you read in Wikipedia, read that one more time out.
Harvesting is the process of gathering a ripe crop from the fields.
See, from the field, that's, when you read this, read that up.
This is St. Matthew 13 and 38. The field is the world. The good seed are the children of the kingdom, but the tares are the children of the wicked one.
Right, so the field is the world, all right? So the entire world is a field, and it's the time to harvest, all right, the product, the produce. We're in a time now where the Lord is about to gather the ripe, everything that's ripened, whether it's good or whether it's bad. Now, the good is going to be preserved because that's what a farmer do. And the bad, like, you get weeds and different, like you said, tares, which tares, they look like wheat. Then that's not, that's not usable, all right, to the farmer. So what happened is going to be burned, all right?
Quick precept to back up. St. Matthew's 13 and 30. Let both grow until the harvest, and in the time of the harvest, I will say to the reaper, gather ye together first the tares, and bind them in bundles to burn them, but gather the wheat into my barn.
Right, so it said wait until the time of the harvest. Now go back to Matthew 13. And keep reading down.
This St. Matthew's 13 and 39. The enemy that sold them is the devil. The harvest is the end of the world.
See, the harvest is the end of the world. So we in the harvest time. We in the time of harvest. Everything is growed out. Everything has ran its course. This word has spread. Esau has reached the border of his wickedness. All right? Matter of fact, you got that in Revelation?
14.
About the right stick in the sickle. Yeah, get that real quick.
Revelation 14.
Yeah, this is on Revelation 14:14. And I looked, and behold, a white cloud, and upon the cloud one sat like unto the Son of Man, having on his head a golden crown, and in his hand a sharp sickle.
Yeah, and he had in his hand a sharp sickle, right? Now go back to that definition up and read down.
Oh, read on.
Keep reading. No, go back.
A reaping is the cutting of grain or pulse for harvest, typically using a scythe, sickle, or reaper.
See, using a sickle or reap. So that's why that's spiritual, man. The definition, and when the Lord Yahweh put this together in the scriptures, he knew that was going to be the method of harvesting, man. That's a modern. You go into the Wikipedia. That's a modern form of harvesting right there, man. So why are they using key buzzwords like Yahweh used? All right, words like sickle. See? Now go back to where you're at in Revelation.
In verse 15, and another angel came out of the temple crying with a loud voice to him that sat on the cloud, thrust in thy sickle and reap, for the time is come for thee to reap.
So with the time to come to reap, the harvest time. So that's the time we in, man. We in the time of the harvest. And one thing when you really look at it, when you really pay attention, right, the Lord compare everybody as the crops. And a crop, when you think about it, is helpless. A crop is helpless.
Right.
When the farmer get ready to make a move on the crops, they can't do nothing. They can only sit there, you know what I mean? They helpless, man. And they all in the hand of the farmer. The farmer can take that crop and do what he pleases with it. He can pluck it up, he could keep some and preserve some, put it in the barn, and he can take some and he can bundle it up and burn it, just like the scriptures say. So that shows you the magnitude of that whole idea of the harvest and the world being compared as crops, man. You ain't shit, man. You just sitting here waiting till the Lord get ready to move on you. All right? So go back to that definition up.
Reaping is the cutting of grain or pulse for the harvest, typically using a scythe, sickle, or reaper on smaller farms with minimal mechanization.
That's it. Yeah. So it says using a sickle, using an instrument to do what? To separate. Because that's what the sickle does. It separates. And matter of fact, go to see also.
Yeah, I can down now.
All right. Now, do you see what we're knowing?
Yeah, can.
You go to that, and somebody get. I think that's Matthew 3 and 12. All right, now read that.
All right.
That we're knowing.
Yeah, this is
Winnowing.
Well, yeah, can.
Yeah.
This is winnowing is an archaeological method developed by ancient cultures for separating grain from chaff.
See, from separating, that's what a sickle is. Separating the grain from the chaff, all right? And that's the times we in. Because right now, when you see us going out on highways and hedges, we really the sickles. We really the instrument that the Lord using to separate everybody. The Lord using us to gather you in or kick you out or separate you. All right? Go ahead.
It is also used to remove weevils or other pests from stored grain.
See, to remove, and them the undesirables, the pests. So you got dudes that come in amongst us, we the stored grain. We already stored in the house of the Lord. All right? In the barn, so to speak. And then that sickle is used to get rid of pests and other undesirable things that might come in. All right? Go ahead, up.
Threshing, the loosening of grain of seeds from the husk and straw, is the step in the chaff removal process.
Right, threshing, that's a process. You threshing it out of there. All right? And that's actual, you see how you see the words that's being used? See that? That show you that Yahweh Shai is beginning to spring into action, man. All right? Go ahead.
Okay.
Matthew 3 and 12, I believe it is.
This is the book of St. Matthew, chapter 3 and verse 12, whose fan is in his hand.
All right, start up at 10.
Okay. St. Matthew 3 and verse 10. And now as the axe is laid unto the root of the trees,
Right, the axe is laid to the root of the trees, meaning what? You picture somebody out working in the fields, and they, you know what I mean? They cutting shit off, man. They cutting off the thing that's undesirable. That's how a farmer work, all right? A farmer is we're going to look up that word. It dressed, a vine dresser. When you dress a vine, you got to get rid of the things that's undesirable, all right? Go ahead.
therefore every tree which bringeth not forth fruit is hewn down and cast
hewn
into the
down
fire.
and cast into the fire. And that's the way a farmer works. See, that's how bad the Lord is in his teachings, man.
Beautiful.
All right? Matter of fact, somebody give me Isaiah real quick. Isaiah 9 and I think that's 6. Isaiah 9 and 6.
It's Isaiah chapter 9. It's like Isaiah 9 and 6. For unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given, and the government shall be upon his shoulder. His name shall be called Wonderful, Counselor.
See, counselor. So the Lord is a great teacher. See, the Lord teaches you more. The way he teach, he gives you examples that you can't look over. You can't gloss over the examples he leaves. Because all you got to do is look at a farmer and you say, oh shit, how a farmer get down. This is exactly how a farmer get down. When you look at how the steps the Lord is going to take to gather us in and get rid of everybody, it's just how a farmer works. That's why he's known as a counselor, man. Go ahead.
The mighty power, the everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace.
See? So go back to where you at up.
God.
So you can't say, well, I didn't know, Lord, because he left the perfect example. If you don't get it, this is what I challenge you to do. Go into a documentary on a farmer, man. And you'll know how the Lord's going to get rid of your ass. See? Go ahead.
It's St. Matthew's 3 and in verse 10 again. And now as also the axe is laid unto the root of the tree, therefore every tree which bringeth not forth good fruit is hewn down and cast into the fire. I indeed baptize you with water unto repentance, but he that cometh after me is mightier than I, whose shoes I am not worthy to bear. He shall baptize you with the Holy Ghost and with fire. Whosoever fan is in his hand.
Read that part again, huh?
Come, St. Matthew's chapter 3 and verse 12. Whose fan is in his hand, and he will thoroughly purge his floor, and gather his wheat unto his gardener, but he will burn up the chaff with unquenchable fire.
And that's how a farmer would do. And the Lord set up farmers in their stead to be an example, man. That's how a farmer would do. When the farmer gathered wheat, he ain't got no room, he ain't got no purpose, no use for the chaff, man. The chaff, man.
Chaff.
All right? Or pests or anything that might come in with the wheat. He get rid of it. And what's the best way to get rid of it? Burn it. See? So you can't say that the Lord, didn't leave a perfect example. All right? I want to get a quick, comment off the comment board. The brother Mashah.
Shalom.
Matthew 25 and 32. And before him shall be gathered all nations. And he shall separate them one from another as a shepherd divided his sheep
Beautiful.
from the goats.
Beautiful.
Verse 33, and he shall set the sheep on his right hand, but the goats on the left, right? And that's the separation right there. Which a sickle, that's how you separate it. That's how you separate the wheat from the chaff, all right? See? So from there, read the 12th verse one more time up.
Come.
Then from there, I don't know if you ain't got a precept.
Yeah, that was the one I had right there. This the book of St. Matthew, chapter 3, and verse 12 again. Whose fan is in his hand, and he will thoroughly purge his floor, and gather his wheat into the gardener, but he will burn up the chaff with unquenchable fire.
All right, Matthew 21, 33. Right, so we in that time. All right, we actually in the harvest time. Because matter of fact, before you get that, get Matthew 24 and 32. Because all the different lifetimes we came on the earth was different seasons. See? Now this time we on the earth, what season is? You know, it proves that. Let me see. When you go into like the different rulerships, you had what, the Babylonian Empire, the Medo-Persian Empire. That's the second one. Then you had the Greek, the Rome, which is extension of now. It's like 4 seasons. You know what I'm saying? It's like 4 seasons. So now we back. Now, this the summertime. This the harvest. All right. So get that real quick. Matthew 24 and I think 32.
Yeah, this Matthew 24 and 32. Now learn a parable of the fig tree when his branches yet tender and put forth leaves. You know that summer is nigh. So likewise ye, when ye shall see all these things, know that it is near, even at the doors. Verily I say unto you, this generation shall not pass to all.
See, this generation shall not pass. This the time.
Yeah.
This generation, this it. This the harvest time right here, man. And we in the middle of the harvest, man. All right, go ahead.
To all these things be fulfilled, heaven and earth shall pass away, but my word shall not pass away.
Right. So what the Lord said is not going to pass away. All right. So go where you at?
This Matthew chapter 21 and verse 33. Here another parable. There was a certain householder which planted a vineyard and hedged it round about and did a wine press in it.
Right. So the Lord planted a vineyard, man. And that vineyard is here on the planet Earth. This whole planet Earth is the vineyard. All right. Because everything growing, bad, good, you know.
Right.
Because you might plant a garden, right? But just because you plant good fruit, you don't tell me sticker bushes and shit like that ain't growing. Shit that you got to get rid of, shit that you ain't gonna eat, shit you ain't gonna consume. See? So that's the earth. All right, go ahead.
And built the tower and let it out to the husbandman.
Yep.
And went out into a far country. And when the time of the fruit drew near, he sent his servants to the husbandman that they might receive the fruits of it.
Mm-hmm.
And the husbandman took his servants and beat one and killed another and stoned another. Again he sent other servants more than the first, and they did unto them likewise. But last of all ye sent unto them his son, saying, they will reverence my son. But when the husbandmen saw the son, they said among themselves, this is the heir. Come, let us kill him, and let us seize on his inheritance.
Right, and that would actually happen. They actually killed Yahweh Shai. All right, go ahead.
And they caught him and cast him out of the vineyard and slew him. When the Lord therefore of the vineyard cometh, what will he do unto those husbandmen?
Mm-hmm.
They said unto him, he will miserably destroy those wicked men, and will let out his vineyard out unto other and will let out his vineyard unto other husbandmen, which shall render him the fruit in their seasons.
Right, and that's us. We the husbandmen now. We coming in the stead of working these fields, man. All right, because what we doing is a laborer's work. Matter of fact, read that part again.
Okay. It says this Matthew 21:41. They said unto him, he will miserably destroy those wicked men, and will let out his vineyard unto other husbandmen, which shall render him the fruit in their seasons.
Mm-hmm.
Yahushua said unto them, did ye never read in the scriptures, the stone which the builders rejected,
Right.
the same shall be.
Yeah, that's it on that. Yeah. So Yahweh was speaking that parable to them. He was talking about them, but he put it in the category of a vineyard. All right, and the farming and agriculture, man. And that's what this thing is about. That's why he said he lent it out to other husbandmen who was gonna bring forth the fruit. Now get Matthew 9 and 38, and somebody get Ecclesiastes the 3rd chapter.
Matthew 9:38. Pray ye therefore the Lord of the harvest that he will send forth laborers into his harvest.
Matter of fact, jump up.
Okay, kind of. This is on Matthew 9:37. Then said he unto his disciples, the harvest truly is plenty, but the laborers are few.
Right. Hold on, let me see how this play out. Light, huh? Alright, yeah. So read that again out.
Kind.
Yeah, Salaki.
This Matthew's 37. This Matthew's 9:37. Then said he unto his disciples, the harvest truly is plenteous, but the laborers are few.
See, the harvest is plenteous, but the laborers are few. Now, you know what? I got it. I'm gonna go back to that definition in the Wikipedia right quick.
Okay.
Let me go back to it real quick. Now it says, hold up. It says harvesting is the most labor intensive activity of the growing season. It says harvesting is the most labor intensive activity of the growing season. So guess what? We got the most intensive labor on the planet right now, which is harvesting the fruits in, man. All right. So read that again up.
This is Matthew 9:37. Then said he unto his disciples, the harvest truly is plenteous, but the laborers are few.
Right. So the laborers are few. You know, you got Jake out here, they doing all type of shit, man. There's only a few good men that's out here pushing the words of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, pushing out that word and gathering in his men. All right? Go ahead out.
Pray ye therefore the Lord of the harvest, that he will send forth laborers into his harvest.
Yeah, so really we hoping that the Lord send in more laborers, because what's that going to do? They're going to speed up the kingdom. If you get more brothers that's on fire, more brothers that's going hard body for this truth, then more brothers going to get sealed, and that's going to move to the next phase. All right? So from now, go to Ecclesiastes 3. You got
It's
something?
Ecclesiastes chapter 3,
Yeah. All right.
verse 1. To everything there's a season,
See, to everything there is a season. All right?
and a time to every purpose under the heaven.
Yeah, and a time and every purpose under the heaven. So you got a time where you actually plant. You got a time where you cultivate. You know what I'm saying? But then it's going to become a time where you're going to have to harvest what you planted. Seeing we're in those times. All right, go ahead up.
Verse 2. A time to be born, and a time to die. A time to plant, and a time to pluck up that which is planted.
Right, and we're in the time where the Lord is about to pluck up that which is planted. And see, the way the earth is set up, it's more undesirable things growing than desirable. That's why when you read, matter of fact, let's get that we called earlier, what that was, Isaiah 65.
Yeah, kind.
You get that. Because see, it's almost like the Lord got to look through all the bullshit to find the precious. Matter of fact, get that in the blue letter too. What that is, Isaiah 65 and 1.
8.
Get that in the blue letter real quick up. Isaiah 65 and 8. Good. Go ahead and read out.
Yeah, this is Isaiah 65:8. Thus said the Lord, as the new wine is found in the cluster, and one said, destroy it not, for a blessing is in it, so will I do for my servant's sake, that I may not destroy them all.
So yeah, so when the Lord come back to his field and he look at this, it gonna look like it's ran over with weeds. And it gonna look like a field that needs to just be totally destroyed. You know, if you come to a field and it's just weeds everywhere, you can be like, man, burn that shit. But read that again.
It says, thus said the Lord, as the new wine is found in the cluster, one said, destroy it not, for a blessing is in it.
See, and that's how we gonna be delivered. We gonna be delivered by the skin of our teeth. So it's gonna be like the Lord about to destroy everything, but he said, hold on, wait. Somebody in there need to be saved. See? And that's what we do. We growing, we growing. So when the Lord comes, He's gonna be able to identify us. See? That's why it's important to grow in this truth too, man. All right, and you got that? Look up that word what we just read at? Where we just at? Or 8. Destroyed. Look up, hold on, let me see. Look up cluster. Look up cluster real quick.
Yeah, Isaiah.
Mm-hmm.
What was that? Isaiah what?
65 and 8. So that's really the dynamic of the harvest, man. All right, the harvest is that whole scenario is set up to is one extreme or another. All right, for something to be gathered and the other one to be ground up, bundled up, and burnt. And again, that's the time we in, man. That's the sense of urgency, man. All right, you got to know. That's why when you read 1 Thessalonians, the 5th chapter, it say, concerning the times and seasons, brethren, you have no need that I write you. You got to know that you're in the harvest time, man. You got to know you're in the time that the husbandman about to come visit the vineyard. And he's going to pluck up, all right? And he's going to destroy it, or he's going to either gather you in.
All right. This is the word cluster. What the Isaiah what?
65 and 8.
Yeah, this is the word cluster in Isaiah 65 and 8, Strong's H, 811. And the pronunciation, all right, I'm going to go straight to the definition. Cluster of grapes of flour, metaphor of love.
Read that again.
Of flowers, metaphor of lover.
See, of flowers, right? See, that's a metaphor for real of something that's growing like a flower. Like for an example, right? If you go into a field and you see it all ran over with weeds, then you see flowers. What happens? What you do with a flower? You pluck it up. You pluck it up. So we're gonna actually be plucked. All right? We're gonna be plucked up. Matter of fact, let me get a quick scripture real quick. Real quick, bear with me 1 second. Yeah. Somebody get Zechariah 3 and 2. Now read that definition one more time. Because what you do with a flower, you pick a flower. All right? You actually pick a flower.
All right. It reads, of flowers, metaphor of lover.
All right? You pick a flower, you pluck a flower up. All right? So give me Zechariah 3 and 2.
It is Zechariah 3 and 2. Now Joshua was clothed with 50 garments and stood before the angel. And he answered and spake unto those that stood before him, saying, take away the filthy garments from him. And unto him he said, behold, I have caused thy iniquity to pass from thee, and I will clothe thee with change of raiment. And I said, let them set a fair
Mitra.
upon his head.
Yeah, that's like a turban. All right? Go ahead.
So they set a fair mitre upon his head and clothed him with garments. And the angel of the Lord stood by. And the angel of the Lord protested unto Joshua, saying, thus said the Lord of hosts, if thou wilt walk in my ways, and if thou wilt keep my charge, then thou
What you started from?
2. Slack. I started from 3.
Yeah, it's 2.
Slack. This Zechariah 3 and 2. And the Lord said unto Satan, the Lord rebuke thee, O Satan, even the Lord that have chosen Jerusalem rebuke thee. Is not this a brand plucked out of the fire?
See, a brand plucked out of the fire. See, that's how we gonna be delivered. We're gonna be plucked out of the fire. You just read that where it said wet flour, and what you do with a flower, you pick it.
Right.
And that's what you do. That's what you do at harvest time. You pluck up and you pick it. Now you know what make that deep? Go to Matthew 24 and 22 real quick in the blue letter.
Con.
Matthew 24 and 22 in the blue letter. Because again, you pluck or you pick, you know, when you are in harvest time. Like when it's time for you, like just say you got an apple tree and it grew to its ripeness. You pick it, right? So, like we always tell you, words is heavy. And a play on words is spiritual. All right?
Matthew 24.
And 22. Read it in the blue letter.
Okay. It's the book of St. Matthew, chapter 24 and 22.
Mm-hmm.
And it reads, and except these days be shortened, there should no flesh be saved, but for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened.
Now look up that word elect.
God.
And this was happening at harvest time. When you look up this word elect, you're going to see that how it coincides with the harvest. All right?
I got you.
You got it?
My little locking my little device a little slow.
Yeah, Satan, Esau, man.
God.
Esau been doing that lately too, man. Trying to hinder this word. Go ahead.
Right. This is Strong's G 1588. All right. Electos. All right. Picked out.
See? Picked out. That's what happens when the husbandman come in the harvest time. He pluck you or pick you out of the fire, man.
That's right.
That's how we gonna be saved.
Right.
See? Go ahead,
Chosen. Okay. Chosen by the Most High to obtain salvation through Hamashiach. Christians are called chosen or elect of the Most High. The Messiah is called elect, as appointed by the Most High to the most exalted office conceivable. Select. Okay.
When you going out there to the field, you selecting what you want.
Con.
You go to a grape tree or a plum, peach tree, you selecting.
Con.
See? Go ahead.
Choice.
Choice, you get the choice fruit. Go ahead.
I.e. the best of its kind or class.
The best of its kind or class. That's the nature of the harvest time. That's what I'm gonna hit you with this, right? When you go to I don't care if it's a pecan tree or whatever, you harvesting.
That's right, huh?
You harvesting. And what you tend to do, you tend to pick out the best. You get an orange, you squeeze it, you look at the plum, see if it got something on it. Now I don't want this. Throw that one, you get this what I want. So that's what the Lord gonna do, man. All right? And again, them the times we in. All right? So get what you got. Then we ready to close up.
All right, Con. Quick precept. This is the book of St. Matthew's 13. And we'll start at verse 49. So shall it be at the end of the world. The angels shall come forth and sever the wicked from among the just. All right, and that's what you do in harvest time. All right, you sever your wheat from your tare.
That's right.
All right, and it said, and shall cast them into the fire, and there shall be wailing and gnashing of teeth. All right.
So yeah, that's the very essence of harvesting. You picking and you choosing. See? And that definition breaks it down perfectly. Elect. All right? Because you selected, you know? I want to get a quick precept off the comment board before we close up. This is Brother Mashah again. 2nd Ezra 9 and 21. And I saw and spread it greatly and have kept me a grape of cluster and a plant of a great people. And it's another one he got two up here I wanted to read. It's heavy to show that I really get it. This is John 15 and 16. Ye have not chosen me, but I have chosen you and ordained you that you should go and bring forth fruit, that your fruit shall remain. All right? So, we're going to end it off on that. All right? And as always, want to give all praise, honor, and glory.
To Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai.
Double honors to the head apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Shalom, Ba'ashem, Rakah Kodash, should I say. Double honors to the head apostles and elders of Great Millstone. And shalom to the brothers out there laboring this work. Till the next time we say shalom.
Shalom.
ETA.
Yeah.
Hey.